Hey fellow designers, it's Karen of Karen Gwen Customs. Welcome back to my channel for Vlogmas Day 4. Today is a very special video. I'm really excited about it because today is the day that I announce my dressmaking primer. That's right. If you follow me on social media, you've seen me post some sneak peeks of this project, but this is the first time that I'm actually revealing to the world what all is going to be included, what it's going to look like. This is actually a full SLOPER pattern kit for creating formal non-stretch gowns, and it includes multi-size pattern slopers from extra small to 3X. Not only are they multi-size, but they're also convertible, and they're called convertible because they work for different body part lengths. So for example, if you have one client with a shoulder to waist of 16 inches and then you have another client with a shoulder to waist of 18 inches, you can still use the same pattern because the patterns are adjustable for different body part length. Not only do you get the slopers, but you also get a booklet on pattern customization. So everything that I know about sewing non-stretch garments, I put into the booklet, which comes in this box. Like, look how thick it is. There is tons of information in this box. You get the booklet that teaches you about pattern customization, and you also get an instruction booklet that's going to teach you how to make this dress. So you get a pattern, you get a pattern customization booklet, and you get the slopers from extra small to size 3. You're not only going to get the patterns, the book, and the instruction booklet, you're also going to get a full YouTube series. I'm planning out an entire YouTube series from start to finish, all the way from how to take measurements, basics of how to use a sewing machine, all the way through finishing a completed dress. If you would like more information on this product, please stay tuned. But before you do, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with a friend who may be interested in my content, change that notification bell from personalized to all so you get notified every time I upload one of these helpful videos, and be sure to join my Facebook sewing group at KGC Sewing Patterns, as well as follow me on Instagram at KGC Sewing Patterns, and check out my patterns on Etsy, etsy.com/shop/Karen Gwen Customs. This will not be uploaded until Friday, December the 12th. That is when I'm uploading pre-orders. But anyways, let's get started. I want you guys to see what all is included in this box. I'm going to start off by just telling you guys a little bit about my background in fashion design. I know when I started my channel, I kind of jumped straight into the information aspect of sewing, and I haven't really taken that much time to introduce myself. So my name is Karen Gwen. I am 30 years old. I am a fashion designer and sewing pattern designer, and I am self-taught. So I did not go to a fashion school. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Houston, and I didn't really discover my love for sewing and my purpose in a career in sewing until I was about 24 years old. And so at that point, I'd already pretty much completed my degree, racked up on student loans, had a family, a husband, a son. And so going back to school to learn something else and to pay for another set of educational skills was not something that was feasible for my lifestyle. So everything that I know about sewing now, I have learned on my own through trial and error, watching YouTube, asking people questions, and you know, practicing on my clients. At this point, I have been sewing for other people for I want to say like 5 years. The first year of it was me starting my first project, which was making my own wedding dress, and I'm going to do a story time about that for Vlogmas as well. But throughout the years, I've just basically taught myself how to sew, and a lot of it has been through just lessons learned from making garments for different people of different body types. I never really got into using commercial patterns because they seemed very overcomplicated to me, especially for someone who didn't have a background in fashion design. So when I started sewing for other people, I literally would just trace clothes that I had at home and then make adjustments based on you know, how big I thought that the garment should be. And eventually I started realizing that the tracing wasn't the best method for me to make the clothes, and I started working on making my own templates to create clothes for other people. And then I eventually realized, hey, this making the patterns from scratch is taking a long time. So why don't I start saving these patterns so that I can use them for other projects in the future? Because I'm always looking for best practices, ways to save myself time, because when you save time, you make more money. And so in 2017, I discovered PDF sewing patterns done by independent pattern designers most of the time, and they seemed so much easier to understand. And so I decided that I wanted to sell the patterns that I had been making to other people, to help other people simplify their fashion design experience. So all of my patterns so far have been for stretch fabric, because I feel like that is the easiest way for a new designer to get their feet wet with garment construction, because there's so much room for error. And with non-stretch fabric, there just really isn't much room for error. And so I've had a lot of people inbox me questions like, well, can I use the mermaid gown pattern for non-stretch fabric? And well, what if my clients' breasts are very large, or what if their shoulder to waist is longer than what the pattern is? And so that kind of got the gears turning in my head of how can I make a pattern for other people that's good for non-stretch fabric, but also as user-friendly as possible. This has been a true labor of love for me. I've been working on it since March, so it's going on 9 months that I've been working on this pattern kit. And it started off as me just wanting to offer the slopers, and then it turned into, well, I can't just sell slopers to people who don't know much about sewing non-stretch fabric without giving them instructions. And then it turned into me having a simple booklet that would explain how to use the patterns. And simple booklet went to 40+ pages, and eventually I had a whole box full of material. And so that's just a little bit about me and how I came to the culmination of this project. And so yeah, let's get started with the unboxing. So this is the Dressmaking Primer. As you can see, it is a box. It's full of instructions, patterns, everything you could imagine when it comes to non-stretch dressmaking. And the pattern slopers are sizes extra small through 3X. I have it rubber banded because there's literally that much stuff in the box. Like when I take the rubber band off, the box is probably just gonna pop open because I'm giving you guys this much stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open the box. See, there's a lot of stuff in here. Just kind of popped open like a can of biscuits. All right, so once you open the box, you have a clear lid. And then the first thing you're gonna see, unless I rearrange the order because I still have a week to finalize everything, is the pattern. If you bought a pattern from me before, this is how they come. They come in a clear page protector. And then on the inside, you will have the instructions. And instead of the patterns being inside here like they usually are, because there's so many, I actually have a box of patterns for you guys. The next thing you're gonna see is a wire-bound book. And remember, this cover is just temporary. It's gonna have an actual picture of me on the front in a real dress. And the book is filled with, it's like a miniature textbook that I wrote. And it's, as I have it right now, it's about 40 pages long. Got a little introduction from me on the first couple of pages. Go over the supplies that you'll need to create non-stretch dresses. Little info page about what type of needles you should have, how to know when you should customize your patterns. And some of these pages are going to change because, like I said, I'm still finalizing. There's things that I think of every day that I think, oh, if I would have put this out months ago, I wouldn't have even thought of this. So can't knock the process. We have our list of measurements because we're teaching you how to take measurements. And then for each measurement that I list out, we have a mannequin with rulers on the body, and it's telling you how to measure each thing you need to record for non-stretch patterns. A page on fabric grain. What else? I talk about seam allowance and ease. Talk about the different parts of a dress. And then I also talk about darts. If you don't know what darts are, if you don't know some of these terms that I'm talking about, like, do not worry. That's what the purpose of this book is for. It's to teach you all of these things that you need to know about non-stretch dressmaking. So I talk about darts and why they're important. And then the book goes into different segments of the different parts of a dress. So I have a segment on the bodice and sleeves, for example. So you have the front bodice, the back bodice, the sleeve, the skirt, the train. I have a great diagram on how the train works if you're doing the no knee seam method. And then I have another section on the circle skirt method for the train. And for each of these different parts of the dress that I talk about, not only do I have the diagram, but I also have an informational page, sometimes more than one page, on how to customize the pattern. So if you have a client whose measurements fit perfectly into your size chart, great, you can use the pattern as is. But if you have a client who has a kind of medium-sized waist but small hips, or if you have a client that has a very large chest, this book is teaching you how to customize it. If you even have a client that falls outside the size ranges that the pattern kit offers, it's going to tell you how to customize it for them. A couple pages in the back for you to jot down any notes that you want to remember, and then you have a croquis template to draw out any sketches that you want to do. So that is pretty much what the book is going to consist of. But like I said, I'm still making some changes. But as of right now, it's 40 pages. So I've poured a lot of knowledge into this book. Next, we're getting to the goodies, the patterns. So I'm about to unfold all of the patterns and show them to you guys so you know exactly what you're getting in this box. The reason that there are so many patterns in this box, if you bought a pattern from me before, for example, like the mermaid gown pattern, a lot of times the front and the back can serve the same purpose as far as shape goes. But with non-stretch patterns, you don't have that same option. On the front of your body, you have breasts. On the back of your body, you don't. On the front of your body, you have legs. On the back of your body, you have a butt. And so the body parts are different, so the patterns have to be different. This is the front bodice piece. Now, this is very long. It's maybe longer than any bodice piece you've seen that goes from shoulder to waist, but that's because it's convertible. This pattern is meant to be folded, to be customized to fit different size breasts. So look, for example, if you turn to the side, you can see that this pattern going over the front of your body should be longer because there are breasts on the front of your body. But going down the back, it should be shorter because you don't have to go around any breasts with your pattern piece. So this front piece is longer because you have to accommodate your client's breast measurement. So for example, going here, let's say I have a shoulder to under bust length of 15 inches. On the back, let's say, or down the side, because that's how I measure, shoulder to under bust side, I have 12 inches. Shoulder to under bust front, I have 15 inches. That's a 3-inch difference. So that means that my pattern piece for the front should be 3 inches longer than my pattern piece for the back. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at these measurements here on your pattern piece. And you're going to fold back based on whatever the person's shoulder to under bust front measurement is. So let's say we have a person that's a size medium and their shoulder to under bust front weight measurement is 15 inches. So you're going to fold your pattern back at that 15-inch mark, and then you're going to fold it down to meet this bottom line. And now we have accommodated a client that has a shoulder to under bust length of 15 inches. Instead of having it this long, we have now shortened it to accommodate our client's shoulder to under bust front measurement. Now, the next thing that you have to do, and this is very important, you still have to customize to meet your client's shoulder to waist measurement. So let's say that our client, who's a size medium with a shoulder to under bust front measurement of 15 and a shoulder to under bust side measurement of 12, has a 16-inch shoulder to waist measurement. So with knowing that our front bodice piece needs to be 3 inches longer than the back or than the side, we know that instead of 16 inches, we have to add that 3 inches to the bodice front pattern piece, and our total bodice front pattern piece measurement from shoulder to waist should be 19 inches. So this pattern is actually a total, now that we've shortened this, we now have a total of a 21-inch length in our pattern piece, but we only want it to be 19 inches. So I'm going to fold it up 2 inches. This is 2 inches right here. I already folded, so I know the length, but I fold it up 2 inches and then I fold it back down to meet the bottom. And so now our pattern piece is 19 inches long. We went from this and we plugged in our customer's measurements, and we shortened the shoulder to waist measurement, and we shortened the shoulder to under bust front measurement. So now we have a pattern that is the correct length for our client. You may be wondering where the side darts are. They are not on the pattern. I actually have pattern pieces for the side darts. So I have different ones for each length of shoulder to under bust front. So this one goes with our 3-inch shoulder to under bust front measurement. And this is also in sizes extra small all the way to 3X. So all you're going to do is take your dart and you're going to place it here at the top, this top dotted line right here. This is where our darts are supposed to start. You're going to place it there. So you have a 3-inch dart. And when you join this dart, when you're sewing, your pattern is going to go from 19 inches long to 16 inches long. And based on how big, what size you're doing, that's where your dart's going to end over here. So this is the end point for the 3X, the 2X, the extra large, large, medium, small, extra small. And wherever the bottom of this side dart is, which is right here, that's how tall we need to extend the waist dart. So the waist dart ends here, just because I had to put them on the pattern, but it needs to go all the way up to this line because that's where the bottom of this dart is. And whatever length of dart you're using, you should use that same thing when you trace your pattern onto your pattern paper. The back bodice is similar to the front bodice, except it's not going to be as long. We already talked about how the back of your pattern should not be as long as the front of your pattern because your back has no boobs. So this pattern is going to be shorter. So like we measured, our client is 16 inches from shoulder to waist. We want to make this pattern 16 inches as well. This pattern piece can accommodate shoulder to waist lengths from 16 inches all the way up to 20 inches. So if we have a client with a 16-inch shoulder to waist measurement, we're going to fold the pattern back at the 16-inch mark and fold it down to that bottom line. So we've gone from a pattern that is up to 20 inches long, and now we've decreased it to 16 inches to match the body of our client. Next, we have our sleeve pattern. Nothing super special about it. It goes from extra small to 3X, just like the rest of them. For the smaller sizes, the sleeve is a little bit shorter. For the larger sizes, it's a little bit longer. So you just have to make sure you measure the length of your client's arm to make sure that you have the right length of sleeve, because people are diverse. So just because someone is an extra small, that doesn't mean they don't have long arms, and so on and so forth. Here we have our skirt front piece. And we are able to accommodate waist to hip lengths of 8 to 10 inches. So if your client has a length from their waist to hip of 8 inches, you're simply going to fold on that dotted line and fold it down to meet the bottom dotted line. Now you have decreased your waist to hip from 10 inches to 8 inches. If the person has a 9-inch waist to hip, you're going to use that middle line. If they have a 10-inch waist to hip, you're going to go ahead and leave it flat just like it is. Next, we have our skirt back pattern piece. This one is different. It's wider because it accommodates the butt. It is always going to be wider. Your back pattern piece should always be wider. And you have darts here to decrease the width of your butt to match the width of your waist. Same dotted lines as the front pattern piece, fairly simple. All right, so the next piece is our mermaid gown front piece. This is for doing the no knee seam method, which is similar to my mermaid gown with Bodice pattern for stretch fabric, only this one is for non-stretch fabric. So if you're making this, all you're gonna do is take your skirt pattern piece like so, and connect it here at the knee to the train pattern piece. And that's how that's done. The same thing goes for the front. The front pattern piece is different for this piece than the back piece, because the back piece for the skirt is wider than the front skirt. So we have two different pattern pieces for this bottom trim. The next piece that we have is the Bodice. And this is the triangular fabric that you put into the side seams of your no knee seam train to give it the same fullness that you would get from a circle skirt. Now this is actually meant to be either cut on the fold if you have enough fabric, or if you want to save fabric, you can cut out 4 pieces and sew them together to make 2 pairs. So the Bodice piece would actually be twice as wide as this when you actually sew it into the dress, and that's going to add that fullness that you wouldn't get by just doing that simple flare. Last thing we have here is our circle skirt templates. And these are paper form. As you guys know, I do have a plastic set of circle skirt templates that are for different inches, but these are going to go with the different skirt measurements. So you have your extra small all the way to your 3X. So depending on whichever size pattern you're using for the skirt, this is what you would use if you're going to do a circle skirt for the bottom instead. So that's all the patterns. I'm so excited to share this information with you guys. I'm so excited to release the pattern on Friday, December the 12th. Please make sure you join my Facebook sewing group, KGC Sewing Patterns. That's where I've been posting all my updates about the development of this pattern kit. And you want to join because there might be a coupon code for my group members. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know what you think about the pattern kit in the comments below. And I will look forward to seeing you guys on the next Vlogmas.